Hello, welcome to the Non-Inkables podcast. This is episode number 4. So we are going to be talking about a lot of tournaments that I was in and also the Atlanta Challenge that was over the weekend. Super exciting. So this past week, I was originally supposed to be at a conference in San Diego, but then it canceled it a few months ago and then ended up just taking the week off because Ursula's Return came out and I wanted to get into these new cards. If you are watching this podcast on the YouTube channel, you will see as the background, I'm unboxing 2 Floodborne boxes that I got. So I had bought like a case of Floodborne on Amazon because it was very cheap. I think I got them for, I want to say, it was definitely under MSRP, maybe like $110 a box. And so I do pull 2 enchanted. So in this case that I bought, we had already opened 2 boxes off camera and they were like so-so boxes. We got a couple legendaries, but no enchanteds. And the remaining 2 boxes, we got 2 enchanted. So pretty exciting and lives up to my usual record of getting about 2 enchanteds per case. So if you want to see that, look at the YouTube video of the podcast. And so when we talked on the last podcast, I had already played in a starter deck tournament as well as in some sealed tournaments. And then on Monday, I played in the Mishi Monday, and it was set 3 legal only so that people could practice for Atlanta. And I really wanted to play because I wanted to kind of give my set 3 list a last hurrah because I feel like I finally got it tuned up. Unfortunately, when I was playing, I was not using my brain. And so I think I reverted back to how I used to play Lorcana prior to really training up for set championships. And so how I used to play was I just wanted to be the most efficient as possible with my ink. So if I had 4 ink, I wanted to use all 4 ink. If I had 5 ink, I wanted to use all 5 ink. And then I would just quest all the time unless I could attack and kill something. And so not the best game plan because I wasn't really thinking ahead of like what my opponent could play to counter what I was doing and then what I wanted to play like in future turns. I was just doing like turn by turn. And so I lost horribly at Mishi Monday. The first round I played a Ruby Sapphire deck and it was best of 2. I lost both. The first one I didn't have a 2-drop to play, which is kind of unfortunate, although not game ending. And then in the end, I just got Lucky Dime Tamatoad. And then the second game, I wrote frickin' red stuff. So that means they probably every time I played something, they played a Medusa or a Tremaine or a Be Prepared. So that was very frustrating. Round 2, I played a Emerald Steel deck. And the first game I lost. The second game, I went first and it disconnected. Like Pixelborn kicked everybody off. And then it was also a time I think my daughter's being very needy. And so I was like, you know what? You were pretty close to winning. I'll just give you the win. It's fine. I don't care about placing because I don't think I'm going to place. And also I'm just here for fun. And so I let that person win. And he was very thankful and kept saying like, thank you, brother. You're the best, bro, whatever. And I was like, do I correct him to be like, actually, I'm a girl? But I didn't want to be like, actually, I'm a girl. I'm a she, her. So I was like, yeah, no problem, bro. And then in the third round, I played an Amber Steel deck. And that one, I won both. The first game, I went second, and I ended up top decking a goat to win. The second game, I think I just had very good control of the board. I went first. And then the fourth round, I played a Amber Amethyst deck, and I lost both. They were very aggressive, and I couldn't do anything about it. And then the fifth round, I played a Amethyst Steel deck, and I think by that time, I was like very checked out. And so I ended up losing, and then after that, I dropped. Because I was like, I just want to go to bed. And I was like, this doesn't even matter. I'm not going to Atlanta. And then on Tuesday, I played in a constructed tournament at not a new game shop, but new game store for us. And so it was a little bit far, which is why we haven't been there before. I think probably like 45 minutes drive. And so we went down there. It was a constructed tournament. It said it was going to start at 6:30 and we got there at like 6:15 because we didn't want to be late. And they're like, oh, actually we start at 7. And if there's not 6 people, it's not going to go. And we're like, okay, hopefully there's 6 people because we drove all this way. There ended up being 6 people. They did start at 7. I think there ended up being 10 people, I want to say. And it was best of 3. And I won 2 rounds and lost the third round. The first round I played, so I brought to that constructed tournament a Ruby Sapphire deck that had like Sisus and stuff in it. I think I was trying to play the Sisu on Ice version, except that I didn't have a third Sisu. So I replaced that with a Scar Vicious Cheater, which is that 7-drop uninkable card that lets you ready after you banish a character. And I had literally picked it mid-morning. Like mid-morning, I was still unsure what I wanted to play. And so I had practiced with it very minimally and only on Pixelborn. And then Brian brought a Emerald Steel deck. And I think at that time he was running, it's like a Bucky Emerald Steel deck with Diablo. But I think he hadn't quite fine-tuned it like he has it now. And the first person I played was playing Amethyst, and they had started playing maybe like a week before, and their friend had made their deck for them, and it was the deck he was using, which I later lost to. And so the first game I won, I Lucky Dime Tamatoa'd him, and I don't think he had ever seen a Lucky Dime or a Tamatoa, because he was like, what does that card do? How did you get like 12 lower all of a sudden? And it was interesting because he would like ink and then draw his card and not exert his cards. It was very like confusing to keep track of. And then his discard was not face up, which his friend corrected him on. And then first game I won, second game we went to time, and I think we had extra time because the person who was running it wasn't even keeping track of the time, and everyone was just complaining that we hadn't started the next round. So then we went to turns, and then it was a draw because I don't think either of us got to 20. And so then I ended up winning the round since I won the first game. And then the second game I played I think it was Emerald Steel, but it might have been Emerald Sapphire. I don't know. He was trying some like new fun deck, like not meta, just interesting combos and stuff. And unfortunately, I smoked him because I think his deck was very much still in the testing phase, and so like hard to get working. And then in the last round, I played a Ruby Amethyst deck. So the friend of the person I played in the first round, and his Ruby Amethyst deck drew so many cards. So he played, I think, 4 of each card, so super consistent. So his 1-drops were Magic Broom, which draws you a card when you play another character, Chernobog Followers, which draws you a card after you quest. His 2-drops were Cusco, which draws you a card when it's banished, and then Madam Mim Snake. His 3-drops were Brawl, Madam Mim Fox, and Maleficent, which draws you a card when you play it. His 4-drops was Merlin Rabbit, which draws you a card when you play it and when it leaves play. And then Queen's Castle, which draws you a card if there's a character there. And his 5-drop was Maui, and his 6-drops were Madame Medusa and Lady Tremaine. And his 7-drop was Be Prepared. And so I think in both games, by the end of the game, he was shifting through he had like 12 ink and he had like 20 cards in his hand. It was crazy. So many cards. And so I lost to him both games. And after that, I was like, maybe I should play Ruby Amethyst again since it seems like it's good. And I mean, I had played Ruby Amethyst in Floodborne Set 2 when we started, and then I played it a little bit in England's, and then I went to Green Steel, and I tried to play like Amethyst Steel and Sapphire Steel and Ruby Sapphire, and then went back to Ruby Amethyst, and that's how I got to Platinum on Pixelborn. And so I was like, maybe I should go back to Ruby Amethyst. So then I tried playing his deck, which went pretty good on Pixelborn, I think. And then I've tweaked it a little bit since. And so, yeah, that was Tuesday. The overall experience, though, I feel like the people there weren't as social as our normal crew in Fantomic, like even with each other. So maybe not my vibes. And so I don't know if we'll go back because it's kind of far for us. And then on Thursday, I went to Victory Point Cafe, which is also a new place for me. Brian watched our daughter, and I played in a sealed tournament there, and it was super fun. And it was sealed Ursula's Return, but he also gave us like half pack of commons and uncommons from the first 3 sets that we could use. And I think that's just how he unloads his bulk. And then we also got, just for playing, a Hidden Inkcaster promo and a Jolly Roger promo. And then I think I placed 3rd. And so I got also I ended up getting a Mulan promo since I didn't have that one yet. And then it was best of 2. The first round I drew, I think everyone drew. And then the second round I won, and then the third round I lost. And the third round, the guy had one Chenpo, which is like such a big body, 4/7, hard to kill. And then he also had Ariel Singer 7, and then the Vanessa Singer 4. So then he could sing all these like sing together songs. And those cards are crazy when they actually go. And so that was interesting. And he was talking about, so he was not going she was not going to Atlanta, but she was going to Chicago. So she was working on a Ruby Sapphire deck, but it didn't use Tamatoa. It uses the Ariel with Ward that quests for 3 unless you have more items, and it quests for 5, which is very interesting. So it's like a little bit lower to the ground, which I think is interesting and maybe something to test out. And so that was Thursday. And then weekend was Atlanta Challenge, which we watched part of the live stream for. I was also doing a lot of other stuff, so wasn't like fully paying attention. But very exciting that a non-meta deck won the championship. So the deck that ended up winning was a Mufasa deck that was Amber Amethyst and made use of an enchanted Chernobog. I was like, wow. They're playing an enchanted, so shiny. And then it was interesting to see there's some people who are playing like all foil decks. It was very cool. And so I think it's smart to bring a non-meta deck to a set challenge because like, everyone's going to be playing one of the meta decks, right? So if you can make a deck that has counters to everything that the meta decks do, like you're playing a deck that nobody knows how to, they don't know what's in your deck because it's not meta, right? So they're not practicing against your deck at all. And so you can surprise them and then they don't know how to deal with you. And then if you have counters to all the meta stuff, like that is kind of a surefire way to win. However, I don't think I have the deck building ability to create such a deck I don't think I have the ability to create a meta deck, period. I'm still working on that. And hopefully going to more sealeds will help me kind of figure out how to do that. And then also, I don't think I have the experience to be able to create a deck because I'm not sure what the framework is in terms of like, how many cards do you need in it to help you draw cards? How many cards do you need for like what is the core stuff that you would need? That kind of stuff. Like how much attacky stuff do you need? How much aggro stuff? I don't know. I think it's hard. And the times that I've tried to create decks, they're not great. Although I don't spend that much time testing them because I end up just getting a meta deck that someone has published and then I'll just try to kind of tweak it. But one day I will hopefully get to that ability level where I can create my own meta deck or meta versus meta deck. But yeah, Atlanta Challenge was very cool. I think that Cinderella mat looks awesome. The Mickey Mouse serialized gold card is also pretty cool, although I hope they make a non-gold version because the art on the banner looked awesome and I definitely would want that card. I mean, I also want the gold card, but I would also want a color version of that card. It's also interesting to see how people organize their ink. And I feel like I need to learn to play prettier and more organized because I feel like my ink is always like a little haphazard looking and like facing multiple directions. Like they're all basically vertical, but not like super straight. And after seeing like some people, even like on the tournament on Tuesday, the guy would just like so smooth, just like whoosh, spread out his ink. So I need to work on like my real play aesthetics, I suppose. These are the things I think about. And so we were also able to get tickets for Fort Worth. Originally, we didn't want to go to Texas because I have to say I am not a huge fan of Texas in general, like in terms of mostly their politics, but also the weather. But because Atlanta was so hard to get tickets for, I thought maybe we should just try to go to all of them and we'll go to whatever we can get tickets for. Because originally we only wanted to go to Vegas and Seattle. But now we're going to go to Texas. We're going to try to go to Toronto as well. And then also Vegas and Seattle, just to maximize our chances. And so we're going to Texas. So if you see us in Texas, say hi. We're going to try to create kind of a team. So right now it's just me and Brian, but hopefully we can get a team with more people and we can do like deck testing and strategizing and all that cool stuff that I have no idea about. So we will have to add some very experienced people to our team. Yeah. I will bring, 30 the diversity of having a girl on the team. I don't know. Yeah. So that's our plans for the future. This week. Oh, also over the weekend, Brian played in a constructed tournament. So he brought his green steel deck there, and he was undefeated until he got to the last round of Swiss, and he lost to a ruby sapphire deck from one of our friends who's very good. I don't think either me or Brian have ever beat him. So that is the goal. One day we will beat him. Like, we've beat him maybe for one game, but never for like the round. So that is the goal. And also, hopefully he can teach us some stuff. And so the winning was a booster box of Ursula's Return, which him and Brian split. And Brian ended up getting a Sisu on our half, and then he ended up getting Enchanted Goofy. And I was like, Brian, we didn't get the Enchanted half, but that's okay, because we did pull an Enchanted Goofy from, I think, one of the boxes I bought. So that's okay. And in this upcoming week, our plan, I'm going to play in a sealed tournament at Victory Point Cafe again this Thursday. And because of that, they don't run league, but they have like all the promotional stuff. So when you go to your second event, you get a pin. So I'm very excited for that. So hopefully I'll get a pin. And then originally on Friday, we were going to play in a draft competition, but it is at the place that's kind of far. And since we didn't have great vibes the first time, we might not go. And then on Saturday, there is the 10K Ursula's Return run by Thea Beastie over through Play Lorcana TCG. And so we'll probably be playing in that. And that is it for competition stuff for this week. In terms of the YouTube channel, last week I published a video about Ursula Lore Part 2. So I went over all the cards in Illumineer's Quest and paired it with the card. So the Illumineer's Quest cards have the Glimmers as their entangled version. So like their possessed by Ursula version or controlled by Ursula version. And then I compared it to their regular card, non-possessed, and kind of talked about that. And then I noticed when I was looking through the cards that there is a Hades card that kind of like seems to imply that maybe a future set will be Hades, but I also think there might be a future set that's more Maleficent based, because one, we've gotten a bunch of Maleficent and Diablos in terms of cards, and also as enchanteds. And also in the Diablo, the 1-drop Diablo card, it says like, keep an eye on the Sea Witch for me. So Maleficent is obviously not one of the entangled Glimmers, so not controlled by Ursula, and I feel like she would come back. And maybe it's just each set is going to be like a power struggle between all the villains. So maybe we'll do like Ursula, and then we'll do Hades, then we'll do Maleficent. I don't know. That would be cool. I am excited in case it is going to be Hades, because I love Hades, and it would be awesome if they had a card that said like, whoa, is my hair out? And then I don't know what effect that would have, but maybe it like decreases the attack of opposing characters or something, or maybe on yourself because his hair goes out. But I don't know. That would be very cool, because I love that quote from Hades from the movie. But on that video, there was a comment that has since been deleted, and it was someone saying like, whoa, thanks for spoiling Illumineer's Quest. I didn't think you were going to actually go through the cards. I thought you were just going to talk about the lore, which I found funny, because literally in the first 2 minutes of the video, I say, hey, this is part 2 of Ursula's lore. Part 1, we talk about everything up to Illumineer's Quest, and in this video we're going to talk about all the cards from Illumineer's Quest, which I felt like was a pretty clear spoiler warning. Also, at the time when I published it, all of the cards in Illumineer's Quest was available in the app. Like, you could already see all of the cards, and it was also on multiple posts. And it's not like I revealed the card that's in the little gold package, not that special card, although there have already been spoilers for that. I didn't do that. And so I was like, what is wrong with this person? And I was like, should I respond to it? And I was like, no, stay out of it. Stay out of it, Q. It kind of reminded me back from when I started YouTube stuff back when I was in high school. I did some like makeup videos, and then I transitioned to doing like MCAT videos. And then on my MCAT videos, I got a lot of comments like, oh, you're being sponsored by the company to make this video. This is such an ad. This is so fake. And like that really got to me, and I stopped making YouTube videos after that until Lorcana. And so I was like, I hope this doesn't end up like that again. But I feel like I've matured, and I can, stand above the haters now. Also, they deleted their comments, so maybe they realized the error of their ways. Who knows? And so, yeah, I thought that was funny. And then this week, my plan is to publish the Rules of Villainy videos. So there are cards in the published sets that have on the bottom like rules of villainy. So the first one is like Ursula in set 1, and it said like first rule of villainy, if you're going to be evil, you've got to have style. So we'll just talk about all of those cards, and that'll be published sometime this week. And I feel like I should say spoiler for set 1 through 4. And then also this week on Friday is the mass release, so release of the cards into the big box stores. So currently the ones that sell them are Best Buy, Hot Topic, Box Lunch, Barnes & Noble, FYE, GameStop, and most recently Michael's, although I think they only have Floodborne so far. And so last time when I went to the stores, none of them had stuff on the release day. And the people at Hot Topic, Box Lunch, and Barnes & Noble and GameStop all told me like, oh yeah, we get it from a third-party vendor, so we don't get things on release day. So maybe it's just Best Buy. I don't know. Or maybe it's just in my area. Oh, also Target and Walmart. Although the Target and Walmart in my area has not ever had almost anything. So I don't know. I may just call around. Also, I should just wait for all the pre-order stuff to ship, and then I will have tons of stuff. You can also pre-order on Amazon. So sometimes it's under MSRP, and last set you had to have an invitation to order stuff, but this time it seems like you can just pre-order. So I'm pretty excited to have more cards and try to kind of finish our play sets. And yeah, that is what is coming up. So thank you for tuning in. This has been episode 4 of the Non-Inkables podcast. As always, watch our YouTube videos, like and subscribe, check out our TCG store. Let me know what else you guys want me to talk about. And as always, keep shuffling, and hopefully you don't end up with a whole handful of non-inkables like me. Oh, and if you want to see how horribly some of my hands go, just check out our Instagram, and I post these horrible hands I have of just all uninkable cards that I can't play and I can't ink, and so I just brick so bad. All right, bye.